Stop whatever you're doing and picture this. A 68-year-old truck mechanic named Carl wakes up 4 times a night, not because of coffee, but because of one innocent habit he repeats every morning. Dr. Robert Miller, a urologist who has scoped more than 10,000 prostates, calls this ritual the silent vice, and says it squeezes the gland the way a vice grips metal. Miller walks into the exam room, drops Carl's ultrasound on the desk, and asks a question nobody expects. "How long do you sit on the John scrolling sports scores?" Carl shrugs. 10, maybe 15 minutes. And the doctor's eyebrow shoots up like a warning light on a dashboard. According to Miller's new study, every extra minute hunched forward on the porcelain throne doubles pelvic congestion, starving delicate arteries that feed a man's downstairs hydraulics. Yes, the same tissues that keep blood moving where it matters. That traffic jam forces the prostate to swell like a garden hose kinked at both ends, leading to weak flow, overnight sprints to the bathroom, and a creeping sense of fatigue by noon. The doctor compares it to parking a heavy truck on a garden patch. Leave it there long enough and nothing fresh can grow. Carl thinks back to decades of reading the morning paper, then his phone, then social media, all while gravity kept grinding on his pelvic floor. Miller's words hit harder than any lecture on cholesterol. Men over 60 can't waste circulation. Every drop of oxygen is staking a claim on your energy, your sleep, and yes, your confidence in the bedroom. The conversation gets even more personal when Miller hints at the real-life consequence: sluggish blood flow that makes an erection feel like starting a cold engine in winter. Carl's jaw tightens. This isn't just about comfort, it's about manhood, dignity, and staying on the job until retirement feels good, not grim. So before we dive into the pantry fixes and the 3-minute rescue stretch, remember this: the battle for your prostate's future may start with the rectangle of plastic in your hand and the time you spend sitting still. Imagine the plumbing in your house backing up because someone keeps piling weight on the main pipe. Your prostate faces the same pressure when you linger on the toilet. Dr. Miller flips to an MRI slide and you can actually see a dark ring where blood pools around the gland like traffic on the LA freeway at rush hour. That backed-up blood turns nutrient-rich fluid into a swamp, raising inflammation markers that scientists link to nighttime urgency and the dreaded dribble. Here's the home test he teaches Carl. Press 2 fingers just behind the scrotum while seated. If you feel a dull ache within 5 seconds, congestion is already brewing. Miller doesn't mince words. It's like parking your favorite classic car on a wet lawn. Leave it too long and rust creeps into every joint. The surprise villain is gravity. Leaning forward even 10 degrees doubles the force on pelvic veins, starving the same vessels responsible for a firm salute when romance calls. And yes, that subtle starved feeling you get after lunch, like your battery never reaches 100%, can trace back to oxygen-hungry tissues down below. Carl admits he often scrolls news about heart health while unknowingly hurting the very circulation his heart depends on. Miller counters with a farmer's trick. Swap the morning phone scroll for a warm cup of oatmeal sprinkled with turmeric and black pepper, 2 pantry staples shown to thin sluggish blood and calm prostate swelling. He also hands Carl a small kitchen timer and a deal. Stand up at 3 minutes, stretch your hips, breathe deep, then finish your business. In a month you'll cut midnight bathroom trips in half. Carl laughs but pockets the timer. Because when a mechanic learns a tool can stop an engine knock, he doesn't argue. Stick around, because in the next chapter you'll see the single baking soda habit that rescued another patient's flow in 7 days. Carl returns a week later, grinning, because the teaspoon of baking soda trick eased his stream but complaining he now wakes up parched like he swallowed desert sand. Dr. Miller pulls out a tall coffee cup, the kind we all cradle during morning email, and slams it on the desk. This innocent mug is the real saboteur. Caffeine and hidden sodium in many store-bought brews yank water out of your bladder wall faster than a dry sponge in a spill. When that lining shrivels, prostate nerves fire false alarms, making you feel you have to go even when the tank is half empty. Miller shows Carl a lab slide. Shrunk mucosal cells look like raisins, crowding vessels that also supply the organ responsible for a confident performance in the bedroom. Starved vessels equal weaker pressure, meaning both your flow and your intimate salute suffer the same sluggish fate. Here's the fix that kept Miller's own dad off prescription meds. Add 1 pinch of cream of tartar and a squeeze of lemon to every second cup of coffee. The tartar potassium balances sodium, the lemon lowers pH, and together they calm bladder nerves so the prostate can finally relax. To prove it, Miller straps a tiny pulse oximeter to Carl's finger. After the adjusted brew, his peripheral oxygen jumps 3 points, enough to fuel afternoon energy without another caffeine hit. Carl nods, because seeing red numbers turn green is like watching your truck's check engine light disappear. Before they shake hands, Miller warns, "Skip this tweak and you'll keep chasing energy highs while draining the very system that keeps you dry and strong." In the next chapter, you'll learn why one common desk chair position quietly crushes the muscle that pumps blood back from your pelvis. Don't miss it. Carl thinks he's safe behind his sturdy oak desk, but Dr. Miller flips a tablet showing a thermal scan. Bright red arrows stabbing straight through Carl's pelvis whenever he slouches. "Every minute you sit like that," Miller warns, "you're clamping the pudendal highway that drains your prostate, the same route your morning salute depends on." The compressed muscle is called the obturator internus, and when it tightens it blocks venous return, turning a healthy gland into a swollen traffic jam. Blood that should be cruising back to your heart stalls, pools, and leaves behind inflammatory sludge that inflates nightly bathroom trips. Miller demonstrates the SOS seat slump test. Place 1 fist under each butt cheek. If you feel throbbing within 10 seconds, you're already choking those vessels. Solution number 1 is laughably simple. Slide a rolled-up kitchen towel to the front edge of your chair so your hips tilt forward and the pelvic floor hangs free like a loose hammock. For heavier guys, Miller adds a farmer-friendly trick. Keep a 5-pound bag of dried barley under your desk and perform 10 toe raises on it every hour. The grain shifts, stimulating calf pumps that vacuum blood out of the pelvis. Within a week, Carl's afternoon slump disappears, and quiet bonus, his key cylinder wakes up faster because fresh, oxygen-rich blood reaches the chambers without detours. Miller closes the demo with a challenge. Treat your chair like a pit stop, not a parking lot. Stand every 30 minutes or pay with restless nights and a sluggish faucet. Up next, we'll reveal the hidden sugar in healthy yogurt that stealth feeds prostate-inflaming bacteria. Stay tuned. Dr. Miller snaps a glucose meter onto a spoonful of low-fat vanilla yogurt, and the digital readout screams 22 grams, more sugar than a glazed donut. He explains that prostate welling E. coli gorge on those sugars, belching out toxins that inflame tissue and shrink the passage your midnight stream depends on. Carl admits he downs a tub every afternoon for protein. Yet his PSA crept up and his private hydraulics lost pep by dusk. Miller draws a simple map. Sugar spike, insulin surge, excess insulin flips testosterone into potent DHT, which thickens prostate cells like over-fertilized lawn. Swap the dessert cup for 4 ounces of plain Greek yogurt stirred with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon slows sugar absorption, and its polyphenols stun inflammatory microbes. Add 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. The lignans bind extra DHT in the gut and escort it out before it can stiffen the gland. For a no-cook lunch, Miller blends rolled oats, unsweetened almond milk, turmeric, and black pepper. Curcumin slips past the blood-prostate barrier to calm swelling at the genetic switchboard. He warns that artificial sweeteners aren't free passes. Sucralose hampers the very gut bacteria that metabolize estrogen, leaving more hormone to inflame the prostate. Carl switches for 1 week and reports fewer urges at 3 a.m. and a stronger, more reliable morning signal from the indicator down south. Miller's takeaway: feed your gut like you'd feed your lawn, right nutrients, no candy rainstorms, and the sprinkler system runs clear. Dr. Miller opens Chapter 6 by flipping a stopwatch beside the bathroom door and asking Carl to sit as if scrolling the news on the toilet. The timer hits 15 minutes before Carl even thinks about standing, and Miller explains that this porcelain phone booth habit traps blood in the pelvic veins, swelling the prostate like a sponge left under a running faucet. That congestion also starves the water hose downstream of fresh oxygen, which is why many men notice a softer salute after their long scroll sessions. Miller pulls out a simple foam footstool. Raising the knees to a light squat straightens the rectoanal angle and empties the bowels in under 2 minutes, slashing pelvic pressure by half. He demonstrates a 10-second pelvic floor reset. Exhale, draw the belly button toward the spine, then contract and release the sitting bone muscles, as a micro move to pump stagnant blood away from the gland. Next, he mixes a quick anti-congestion tonic, 1 cup of warm water, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and a pinch of baking soda. The alkalinity eases straining, while acetic acid tames gut bacteria that fuel inflammation. For the evening snack, he swaps salted peanuts for roasted pumpkin seeds dusted with turmeric and black pepper. The zinc calms DHT conversion, and curcumin keeps prostate genes from flipping into grow mode. Carl commits to a 2-minute toilet rule and the seed swap, and within 4 days he reports fewer dribbles and a stronger, steadier stream at sunrise. Miller's closing punch. Scroll on the couch, not the throne. Keep the traffic moving around your gland, and it will return the favor every morning. A bright phone screen glows inches from Carl's face at 11 p.m., and Dr. Miller freezes the frame, warning that this midnight scroll is the second silent saboteur of the prostate. Blue light waves flatten Carl's melatonin, but they also spike cortisol, a stress hormone that makes the gland swell like a balloon and steals the stiffness many men expect at dawn. To prove it, Miller shows a lab graph where just 30 minutes of late-night screen time doubled prostate-specific inflammation markers the next morning. His first fix is painfully simple. Power every screen down 1 hour before bed, then swap the urge to swipe for a quick walk to the mailbox and back, flushing stress chemicals out through the calves. Next, he hands Carl a mug of warm oat bran moon milk, blended with nutmeg and a dash of cinnamon. The complex carbs drive tryptophan into the brain, while nutmeg's myristicin calms pelvic nerves that keep the gland twitchy. For men who crave crunch at night, Miller recommends air-pop sorghum tossed with garlic powder and a touch of sea salt. Sorghum's fiber feeds gut bugs that convert to butyrate, a compound shown to shrink inflamed prostate tissue in animal studies. He slips in a discreet reminder. A relaxed bedtime routine also lets the captain of the ship wake up ready for duty, because lower cortisol frees testosterone to circulate without resistance. Carl sets a simple rule. No glow after 10. And in 1 week his midnight bathroom trips drop from 3 to 1. If this no-cost hack is already helping you imagine quieter nights, smash that subscribe button now so you never miss the next Dr. Back shortcut. Dr. Miller meets Carl 30 days later, ultrasound in hand, and announces that the gland that once pressed like a fist on his bladder has slimmed to the width of a silver dollar. Carl admits he still slips sometimes, but the nightly screen-free ritual, the oat bran moon milk, and the no glow after 10 rule have slashed his cortisol by nearly 40%. To lock those gains in, Miller unveils one last linchpin, a Saturday reset bath of warm water, Epsom salt, and a teaspoon of baking soda, drawing acid waste out through the skin while magnesium calms pelvic floor tension. He explains that looser pelvic muscles mean freer blood flow, which quietly helps the captain of the ship salute more confidently at sunrise without overpumping the prostate. Next, Miller challenges every viewer to post a sticky note on the bathroom mirror that reads, "Screens down, salt soak up," snapping a selfie with it and tagging the channel for a chance to win a year's supply of heart-healthy sorghum snacks. Carl grins and says the real prize is sleeping 6 hours straight, no midnight dash, no desperate aim in the dark. Miller reminds us that these fixes cost less than a fast food combo, but can save you thousands in meds and humiliating doctor visits later. He flashes a quick checklist: screen curfew, fiber fuel, posture breaks, low sugar swap, hydration timer, and the weekly reset bath, urging viewers to screenshot it before the timer runs out. Finally, he leans toward the camera and sums it up. Protect your gland, protect your plan, because when the prostate stays calm, the rest of your manhood keeps marching. If that vision of quiet nights and confident mornings fires you up, hit like, share with a buddy who needs the nudge, and keep your eyes peeled for our next myth-busting episode.